Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So last week I received an email from someone asking me how not to get bored on the raw food diet, and I thought this question was quite funny because I look at so many people's diets, cooked, raw, whatever, and most people eat the same thing all the time. Not many people like take breakfast, for example, right? Most people eat the same breakfast every single day, for years, for decades, same thing. And a lot of times people sort of get used to eating sort of like their 5 or 10 favorite foods, and that's all they eat. They just sort of rotate it around. So when someone's like asking me, how do you not get bored on a raw food diet? Well, the whole thing is that I kind of ask, how do you not get bored on your cooked food diet? Because a lot of times we're always sort of just sticking with what we know and what we're used to, and what we can rely on will satisfy us. But it is important to have variety. It is important to enjoy your food, okay? That's number one. If you want to stick with doing a raw food diet, you got to enjoy it. So today I want to give you guys 5 tips on how to make your diet more enjoyable and how to sort of vary it up and get it a little bit more exciting. So the first tip I want to give is for people to start going to farmers markets or fresh food markets. Go places where the food, first of all, looks good, okay? I can't tell you how many people I know that once they start going to a farmer's market or visiting a local farmer or taking a trip out into the country and getting fresh food, the difference in their attitude towards their food, the difference in the joy of even eating it, because they know where it's from, it's fresh, it looks so good, and they get excited about it. I know that when I go shopping at a grocery store, it doesn't even compare to a farmer's market. It doesn't even come close. It's almost depressing going to the grocery store. But when you go to a farmer's market or you go out into the country and actually visit a farm, I mean, it's like you want everything. It's like a child in a candy store. It's really exciting. So this is the first thing, especially if you're going to get into raw foods. You're going to be around this food for a while and eating a lot of it, that you might as well dive into it and go places where you can get some really fresh, good looking, good tasting food. So that's the first tip. The second tip would be to obviously then start experimenting with recipes. Okay, and I've stressed that. I really feel that if people made sort of the goal of either trying one new fruit or vegetable a week or trying one new recipe a week, they'd never get bored. And in fact, they would have by the end of 1 or 2 months, they'd have a whole resource of yummy food that they can make and that they enjoy. But a lot of times you get lazy, right? So the whole thing is that if you find you're one of these people that eats the same thing all the time, then this is the time to really switch things up and make that goal. Say, okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, I'm gonna find something I've never had before. There's plenty of fruit that people have never tasted. And, and sometimes it might cost a little extra, or you might be taking a risk, you might not like it, but it's worth it because this is for you, and who knows, you might fall upon your newest, most favorite fruit, right? So try new things, try new recipes, go to your local library, surf the internet, and find recipes to try. Give it a shot. You never know, right? But you gotta, if you don't try, then you won't ever know, right? So on to the next tip. The next tip would be to make other people food, okay? This is a huge one, huge one. Make your food and think about preparing food for other people. I find how I go about making food and my whole relationship with finding food and finding recipes changes when I have other people in mind. When I am brainstorming, what am I gonna make for someone? Or if I'm preparing something and I'm like, ooh, this tastes so good, so-and-so would love it. My whole attitude changes about my food. So I find the more that I have other people in mind when I'm preparing my food, the more creative I get, and the more I want to try new things out and find really good recipes. So it actually inspires me, and I just see all around me when people have to make food for other people, they get out of their food rut, because they pretty much, you know, it's not about just giving themselves boring food, but they want to make someone something nice. So think about it, you know, maybe next week invite someone over for dinner and give yourself 1 week to put together some good recipes. That will definitely get you out of your food rut. And then the last tip I have for everyone in regards to making things more exciting and getting into your food is, if you've got a little extra money, I always suggest trying new appliances. Like if you got a little bit of money to spare, get a dehydrator or get a blender. You can get like a cheap used secondhand blender or juicer or food processor at like on eBay or on Craigslist online, or you can go to a garage sale and get new appliances or used appliances that are virtually like $2, $5 for like a juicer. And if you get appliances that you don't normally have, that too will push you to be a little bit more creative and try things out. If you get a juicer, then you can make juices. If you get a blender, you can make smoothies and blended soups and salad dressings. If you get a food processor, you can get creative and make dips, and you can make raw food, desserts, all sorts of stuff. If you get a dehydrator, you can dehydrate your whole refrigerator. So there's things you can do just to make things more exciting. So it's a matter of sitting down and brainstorming. And what I was thinking when I was thinking about today's episode, I thought would be a really good idea is that for all of you that are watching today's show, why don't you post below, whether you're watching on a YouTube or you're watching it on my blog, and post your favorite recipe. Like the recipe that is to die for, that is so good that everyone loves it and you cannot get enough of. If everyone puts their favorite recipe down, then together we can create a lot of ideas. And this person that wrote me last week about being kind of bored on his diet, this will be perfect for him. So post your favorite recipe below and have a fabulous day, everyone.